1.
So hello and welcome. We are Team 5631, and we'd like to present to you our proposal for a treaty reform of the European Union, which we call Fixing the Council Presidency. So how we're going to go about this is first we're going to talk about the problem we're trying to tackle. We're going to talk about the solution, contemplate its effects, and look at the bigger picture of our proposal. Let us start with two quotes from famous European politicians. In the first one, the Czech Prime Minister criticizes the efficiency of the Council presidency, whereas in the second one, former Commission President Jacques Juncker takes aim at the number of commissioners, which he sees as redundant. And so this leads us to our problem definition. We believe that the European Union is currently facing two major shortcomings. One is the problem of effectiveness, and second one is the problem of accountability. And as our quotes indicated earlier, we are going to focus here on the Council of the European Union and the Commission. So regarding the Council, we believe that despite the Troika system introduced in the Lisbon Treaty brought about major improvements in terms of policy coherence, there is still ample space for improvements. Because still member states, which hold only 6 months of a presidency in the Council, push for their own national interest in the Council deliberations. And so that inhibits any long-term strategic orientation of the Council's dealings. And secondly, given that the presidency is held by the member state governments, it is highly dependent on domestic conditions, such as the quality of the member state's bureaucracy, the budget allocated to the member state, to the presidency held by the member state, and most importantly, the political conditions in the member state. Because as we saw in 2009 with the Czech presidency, the government fell in the middle of its presidency, and we ended up with an ineffective and lame duck leadership in the Council of the European Union. Secondly, on the other side, with the Commission, as Mr. Juncker has already foreshadowed, there are simply too many commissioners. We have commissioner for, with the portfolio of economy that works for the people, as well as a standalone commissioner for the economy. And this introduces the problem of lack of clarity or responsibility, because this way stakeholders cannot really know who is exactly responsible for what. And so these two problems, we believe that we can solve with an elegant fix, which Kati will introduce next.
Yeah, you may ask yourself how we can fix these major shortcomings of the current institutional architecture. Well, to confer the Council with a more streamlined and stable leadership, we propose to replace the current system of the rotating presidency that produces around 90 chairs in the Council in one legislative period with a permanent presidency. It will consist of 9 Council chairs, the so-called perm chairs. Moreover, we enact a measure already enshrined in the Lisbon Treaty, but that has been blocked by the member states so far. We will be able to reduce the size of the Commission to 17 commissioners and 1 Commission president. We are therefore able to solve 2 issues at once by proposing a solution that is acceptable for the member states. It would be possible to use the 9 empty chairs in the Council to sell the reduction of commissioners to the member states and compensate for the loss of a commissioner. So how could the appointment procedure look like? Well, the procedure to appoint the Commission President and their college will not be changed with our proposal. We can imagine the following 2-step procedure for the election of the perm chairs. The first step consists of the assignment of roles and council configurations. So the question of who gets what will be part of the grand bargain after the European elections. This will also include the assignment of configurations for the perm chairs. Once the member states have agreed on the assignment of perm chairs, the head of states will approve them by qualified majority in a European Council meeting, similar to the approval of the Commission President or the European Council President. The perm chairs will be elected for a period of 5 years, and no member state shall appoint a perm chair in 2 consecutive terms. So in other words, if Germany, for example, would provide the perm chair of the ECOFIN Council, it could not do that 2 times in a row. To ensure a regular exchange among the EU institutions, the perm chair of the General Affairs Council would have a special role and act as primus inter pares, or as a liaison officer for the presidents of the other 3 institutions.
So, what will our reform achieve? By creating 9 fixed perm chairs, our proposal will fulfill a commitment made under the Lisbon Treaty. We will reduce the number of commissioners to 2/3 the number of member states. Thus, as previously explained, the Commission will consist of 17 commissioners, and the Council of the EU will be made up of 9 perm chairs, each with a mandate of 5 years. Unlike other proposals previously put forth, we believe our proposal will successfully address issues including inefficient policymaking, policy discontinuity, poor interinstitutional relations, weak accountability, the much debated legitimacy of the EU, all the while safeguarding institutional expertise. By lengthening the Council presidency's mandate to match that of a newly reduced Commission, we will address the fundamental issue of policy discontinuity. By ensuring other EU institutions don't have to deal with different Council presidency every 6 months, our proposal will strengthen interinstitutional relations and improve the accountability of the institution. By maintaining political guidance, this proposal will increase the effectiveness of EU policymaking. Importantly, we believe all of these factors will increase the overall legitimacy of the EU. As mentioned earlier in this presentation, the EU often finds itself faced with domestic political problems. By fixing the Council presidency and removing it from the ever-changing domestic arena of member states, our proposal will protect the EU's policy-making process from unnecessary interruptions. Last but not least, this proposal will also protect the EU from needless policy leakage. As it stands, a great deal of knowledge and policy expertise can be lost with each rotating presidency. By fixing the presidency, we can ensure the Council maintains, strengthens, and protects its hard-earned know-how and expertise.
For the end of this presentation, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. How will our reform change the nature of the Union? Our proposal turns only a small screw in the EU's institutional architecture, and it will not change it overnight. The preferences of member states will neither suddenly converge, nor will the big problems of our time, such as climate change or digitalization, be solved. But this is not what constitution making is about. We see our tasks in creating the right environment for the EU to become more resilient and, ultimately, be better equipped to deal with the many challenges it faces. Essentially, we want to strengthen the European house to weather through all kinds of storms. In greater continuity, we pave the way for a more efficient and robust policy-making process. Giving the Commission and the Parliament a permanent counterpart who meets them at eye level will create new feedback loops, tighter forms of interaction, and thus lead to greater interinstitutional coordination. It gives the EU's interinstitutional dynamic a new spin, which will change the way in which policies are made. On a meta level, our proposal reconciles the principles of supranationalism and intergovernmentalism. We strengthen the supranational level by transforming the Commission into a body that is fit for purpose. At the same time, rather than weakening the EU's intergovernmental elements, we acknowledge its importance and aim at improving it. We don't strengthen the clout of member states, but contain their arbitrary power by integrating the Council deeper into the EU's overarching framework, moving de facto away from the norm that every country is represented with one commissioner builds a bridge to future treaty reforms, making it possible to finally break with the legacy that every member state has to be represented everywhere. What is important is that we are inspired by and carry on the work which started with the Treaty of Maastricht and was continued in Nice, Amsterdam, and Lisbon. The historic debate around the reduction of the number of commissioners, as well as the consolidation of the Council, have dragged on for years without notable achievements. With our proposal, we offer an innovative and feasible way forward. It will also support the efforts of previous reforms by fostering coordination between the Council and the European Council President, as well as between the Council and the Commission, as nowadays already exemplified by the dual role of the HRBP. In that sense, replacing the rotating presidency with perm chairs fits neatly in the institutional fabric and strengthens current decision-making processes instead of disrupting them. We don't rebuild the Union, but fix it where necessary.
Thank you for your attention. We, Katharina, Mark, myself, Myrn, and Jakob look forward to continuing the discussion.